program reflected
Yeah, I
the
think
values.
a little
Again,
small amount would be fine.
The values.
But like I said, just
with
the way, like I saw my high school go, we spent all our money.
You can't have a separate set of standards for
necessary.
athletics.
So if UNCG has set limits on what they put into it, then that would be
majority
fine. So
female
they, like,
campus, and you bring big hefty football men. I think it just changes the dynamic that we have here, and that's the reason why I came to UNCG, because of the dynamic we have now.
The idea of UNCG having a football team has been a controversial topic throughout UNCG's history. So how do you feel about having a football team here on campus?
A football team at UNCG?
Yes.
I guess I have mixed feelings about it. I understand that it would bring a lot of, potentially a lot of student school spirit, maybe give us more things to do together as a community on campus, get the name of the institution out there. Football teams go out, play, and people watch them. Gets the name of the school out there. On the other hand, everybody knows there are lots of issues that come with large athletic programs. So I guess that based on what we've got so far, the kind of athletic teams we've been having at UNCG, I see it as a plus overall.
I think if we had a football team on campus, there would be more rep for our school, and we'll have more school spirit.
I don't really feel like it's necessary. I feel like the programs that we have here are sufficient enough, and I don't feel like the football team would really improve school spirit like everybody else thinks it would.
There are several benefits to having a football team on campus.
Well, the benefits of having a football team, you can increase people that come here, because a lot of people are sports fanatics, and a lot of people pick colleges based on the sport selection. So to attract more athletes, definitely. It could possibly bring more prestige to our college and more sense of pride. I know sometimes on the weekends a lot of people leave, so this would be one reason for people to stay behind to support the football team.
A lot of positive things that are possible in playing sports. It builds a lot of strengths in a person that provides opportunities to develop character, to face challenges, to experience triumphing over challenges, to persevere through a challenge, to build communication with your team members, to develop team skills, cooperation skills. So there are lots of benefits.
Having more school spirit, more of our students will be back on weekends to watch the games and stuff.
However, for every benefit, there is a risk.
Okay, some negatives. Like I said about the money, it does take a lot of money to get a football team going and to maintain, and always people are, once you start it, a lot of people live for it, and I feel that like through high school, all the money that could have been used to better benefit like the arts and stuff like that was spent on the football, so doing a football team could take away a lot of money from the programs, and UNCG offers a lot of variety of programs to the students, so I would hate to see that taken away.
I feel like there's positive things about a football team. It might increase school spirit, might get people riled up wanting to go to football games and such, but I also feel like it brings a certain stereotype and a negative aspect onto the campus. It brings more partying, the stereotypical football jock. I just don't feel like it'd be a great positive influence on our campus that we have right now.
For UNCG, there's a wide range of reasons why we do not have a football team.
Well, I remember you told me that there was a feminist board, and they were trying to keep it, like they were being really feminist, and they didn't want a football team because it would have more males, and they wanted the ratio to be a higher ratio than a boys ratio.
Have you heard of Title IX?
Have I heard of Title IX?
Yes.
The rule, how
The equal equality rule.
so whereas we have to offer the same amount of sports for women that we do for men.
Yes.
Yes, I've heard of that.
Okay. Now, how do you think that would affect us getting a football team here?
Well, we'd have to offer a lot. Well, since it is more female population, I think there are a lot of events out there for women to play. So I think we'd have to offer some more programs, because if I remember correctly, football is around 130 students, positions at least at the minimum. Is that something right? Yeah. So we'd have to have 130 more slots for the ladies. So it'd have to come up with some creative things for more sports for them, because a lot of them, well, they don't play football.
Why don't we have one now?
Yes.
Oh, I suppose there are lots of reasons. Some are historical. The institution was created 100 years ago as a training school for women who are going into the professional field, so it has had a particular orientation for much of its history as a school that trained professionals, particularly women, for advanced careers, and then that type of school didn't typically have an intercollegiate sports program. Once Uncg replaced Women's College, I suppose there are all kinds of considerations of finances. We have had active and successful sports teams in other areas, but I suppose that's why probably mostly financial and just the culture and history of the institution.
And the big question is, how do we pay for the football team as soon as we get one?
The government, I don't know. What do you mean?
Like, how do you think UNCG would try to fund the football team?
Parents would have to pay more for it. For tuition for school.
So you're saying that tuition should be raised to support the football team?
A little bit. Yeah.
Can you explain that a little bit?
I mean, if tuition, say, if you add like 1,000 with all the students here, it can raise up to 10 million or how much you said for Lynchburg.
Yes, they went for Lynchburg. Also, they were going for Division III, and NCAA fees only required somewhat. The higher division you go, the more it costs. So it could, like, at worst case scenario, it could cost $24 million for us.
I mean, I know Carolina is real expensive because of the basketball team, and it's so good. And tuition for Carolina is really expensive, but still parents pay a lot.
We went for Division II and won that. I guess it wouldn't be too bad, $10 million. I mean, because the school does take in a lot. So put in a small portion. I just would hate to see a large masses amount of money to go in to build these things that I don't think are necessary. So I mean, putting some aside, football could bring in some great benefits to UNCG. I mean, kind of toss between it. So yeah, I think a little small amount would be fine. But like I said, just the way I saw my high school go, we spent all our money basically on football, and I don't think that was necessary. So if UNCG has set limits on what they put into it, then that would be fine.
I guess that raises, all of the important questions, right? Is it a financial win for the institution, or does it end up costing the institution more financially? Really successful programs seem to eventually bring in a lot of money. But I don't really know whether the money that large and successful sports programs at sort of Big Ten schools, whether that money really benefits the institution as a whole or stays primarily in the athletic program. But I think you're asking great questions. I don't know how money is raised, I suppose, in all the ways that money is raised for anything else. Corporate sponsorships, foundations, going to successful alumni and seeing if they want to make a gift, naming rights to stadiums and that sort of thing. I don't know enough about it, to be honest with you, to answer your question as to how it would be done.
I don't know. That's a good question. I feel like if we were to get a football team, I think UNCG needs to rethink and refocus where their money is being spent, because as an art student, as a dance major, I wish people would take a look at our facilities. We barely make by with what we have now. We barely make by with the funding we have. My classes and my program are being cut to where I don't know if I'm going to be graduating on time or not, because they're cutting classes that I have to take and making me take them other times where I wouldn't necessarily be taking them, this semester. So I have no idea where the money would come from. I think some of it would come from outside funding of people who would like to see a football team here at Uncg. But I would be very upset if the school pulled, millions of dollars out from nowhere and just gave it to a football team when they've been hiding it from other departments for years now. So I would personally be very upset to see that funding come and just be handed to them on a silver platter.
Well, I see the good and bad of it, and like I said, it just depends how they decide to do the program if they do one. So it could turn out to be really good for our school, but if it's not managed properly, I think it'd just be a waste of money.
So I guess the devil's always in the details. It's always in the details of how things are actually built and what the environment is in which they're built, and then things play out, and sometimes even the best laid plans don't go the way you want them to. So I would say, in answer to your question, that is something that we would need to be very aware of, right? The issue of gender equity, and to plan ahead to be sure that our sports program reflected the values. Again, I come back to that topic, the values that the institution states what's in its mission. We can't have a separate set of standards for athletics than for the institution generally. By the same token, there are a lot of positive things that are possible in playing sports. It builds a lot of strengths in a person. It provides opportunities to develop character, to face challenges, to experience triumphing over challenges, to persevere through a challenge, to build communication with your team members, to develop team skills, cooperation skills. So there are lots of benefits. The problem has always been, it seems to me, that sports is often promoted for the traditional and classical values that are represented by the team working together for a common cause. But the actual implementation of the program is sometimes about something else altogether. And that's, I think, the challenge for any university, to be sure that whatever is done and however it's done, that the overall image of the institution and its values is the controlling guide.